Hello, my name is Stephen, and I am the production designer for the music video Piledriver Waltz by Alex Turner. So, in these past few weeks that we've been kind of in our pre production stage, I've been mainly focusing on costume. So, production designer, we typically like facilitate the set, the props, and the costume for a music video or a short film or a production or anything. The original idea that we had was to play with saturation and contrast in the costume and the set. So we were thinking whenever the set would be kind of brightly coloured, like I guess inside a bus because they have like those brightly coloured blue kind of seats, we'd want the actors to be wearing something slightly more grey or dull or toned down. And in moments when the saturation of the set is a bit duller, so like outside on like a cloudy day, and so you don't get like the blue sky and the bright sun, we would have them wear more colourful kind of clothing, and that was to kind of showcase how like brightly coloured, happier settings. For example, maybe a bus isn't the best example, but they might not be happy, but in like a duller area, even with crap weather, they'll still be happy together. But recently the story's been changed, which means that the ideas that I had wouldn't particularly work with the story that it's following. So I had to kind of come up with some new costume ideas, and this time I went a bit more, I guess, naturalistic. For outside scenes, I'm having the male lead kind of wear a trench coat, and like a beanie. Flashback scene that we have, which is essentially where the actor will be walking towards the camera, and then he'll look to the side. The camera will pan, and it will reveal the male and the female lead as a couple walking down the path together. I would want him wearing a brighter coloured beanie, maybe just to showcase his, I guess, mental state in that moment, how he was happier and so his life was brighter and stuff. Indoors, he would kind of just be wearing like, I guess, casual jumper, joggers, nothing like too crazy, just to show that he's kind of in this almost like depressed state where he can't be bothered to like dress up properly, except for when he's outside. Then like I guess people will perceive him. And it's kind of a similar story for the female lead as well. When she's kind of outside, or like in that flashback scene, she'll be wearing like a beige trench coat. She'll be kind of more dressed up slightly with a nice like scarf. I guess to kind of show that she'd like put in more effort because she was happier in the relationship now that they've broken up, because in the story she has breast cancer. She doesn't take care of herself as much because of her kind of low mood, her depressed state. She's also kind of wearing similar like grey joggers. Like I guess they're kind of just mirroring each other in a way, because the whole premise as well is to have them like constantly mirroring each other even when they're like separate. So that's where the costume's going to come into play, that we want them to look not too dissimilar from each other, and to have it represent their moods. So we are going to start shooting on Sunday. It is currently the 19th of March, so it's a Thursday. So we're going to start shooting on the 22nd. We're going to get a good couple of scenes done, mostly the ones that are going to be around St. Mary's. There's some stuff about the set that kind of needs to be done. So I'll be there to like help set up sets and just kind of be like floating, ready to kind of just do any job that needs to be done. Okay, so it is currently 5:44 p.m. And I've just come home. We have finished our first day of shooting on the 22nd, sorry, of March. So like I said, we've just finished shooting, and I think today went quite well. We did quite a few shots. So we started in a dorm room, where we shot the self-harm scene, or implied self-harm scene. We did actually have a few hiccups. We had to change both of our actors to Marcus and Brooke, because both of them pulled out a bit last minute. So we had to come up with a solution on the fly, which we did. So we had Marcus as our main character now, and Brooke as our other main. We did have to use the my Sony camera instead of the Blackmagic that we had kind of borrowed. The zoom was too was too close, and so we had to use my lens, because mine was a 16mm to 50mm, so we had to use my Sony for that. I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. So we had a wine bottle, we had some pills. They're basically just paracetamol or something, I think. So we kind of had that as well next to Marcus, and we also had the blade, the knife, to kind of show that he was in this kind of poor mental state. So after that, we then moved to the Strawberry Hill house, where we shot the scene where he's walking along the path, and then he turns to pan to the flashback. And there were a few hiccups, like we actually couldn't use the Blackmagic camera at all because the battery was completely dead, which means we did have to use the my Sony camera for the whole shoot. What I was mainly doing through that time is, again, so I was doing costume, so I had all the a lot of the costume stuff on me. I was also on crowd control. If there were people who might have been in the shot before we started filming, I'd just run up to them and just explain what we're doing, just telling them to be kind of aware of the cameras. And overall, the day went quite well. Like, out of all the kind of trouble that we had, I think we did quite a good job today. Okay, so I've given myself 2 days to kind of compile a what went well and an EBI list in my head. Kind of my overall takeaway of what I really enjoyed about this digital production music video is that I have got the opportunity to try out a new role that I wouldn't have ever really thought of doing, and I had quite a lot of fun kind of being able to convey emotion and story through the costume and the set of the music video. Another thing that I really enjoyed is kind of getting a chance to work in a group project, because even with all the hiccups and the issues, it still taught me a lot about working in a group, and kind of, I guess, what to expect when you're getting into kind of the film industry. In terms of what I would maybe change for next time, is I would want there to be, I guess, a bit more communication within the group. Even though I did enjoy working as a group, I think there could have been some more communication, because that would have kind of taken away a little bit of the stress that I was feeling throughout the music production. I also would have enjoyed to have a bit more kind of creative freedom, or I guess involvement in everything, because even though I did a lot of the costume work, I think I could have done more with the set and more with the props. So I feel like I could have been more involved in that, even if I didn't create any of the props or anything. If I was at least involved in the decisions surrounding them, and I could have worked on them in some capacity, I think that would have been better overall.